What's up, everybody? Adam back with you here again, and I decided that this weather's just too great not to go for a hike. So drove down here to Red River Gorge, one of my favorite places, obviously, as you probably know by now. And we're going to go check out the Indian staircase today. It's somewhere I haven't been on video yet, so it should be pretty interesting. Currently we're hiking down the Bison Way Trail, where we will meet up with the shelter we trace for a little bit, and then you head off trail to get to the Indian staircase. So it should be a fun little hike. Alright, we hit the shelter we trace trail. We want to hang a left and go towards the Red River, though we're not actually going to go that far before we hit our unofficial trail up to Indian staircase. You can start to see that fall color really starting to come in here now. Looks really nice. So it's really subtle and easy to miss. The shelter we trace continues on this way. Now you can really see it on video now, but there's a blaze right there. And right here is where we want to go to get to Indian staircase. So as you can see, it's really subtle. Easy to pass. I'm assuming somebody stripped the bark off this tree to mark it. Don't really condone that, but either way, this is what we want, and from this point on we will be off official trails and headed towards the Indian staircase. So here's the first part of the scramble to get to the top. This is the easy one. Alright, so we're basically at the base of the staircase here. Technically, I don't think it starts till you get up this scramble here, but for all practical purposes, we're at the base of it. Got a little bit of a view behind us. Not half bad. But now we gotta scramble our way up this, and then we get to the sort of dangerous exposed section. I suppose this is as good a time as any to mention that this is a very dangerous hike. Probably one of the more dangerous hikes in this whole, the whole Red River Gorge. So keep that in mind. A lot of rock scrambling. It's an exposed hike. It's off trail. So, you know, use your best judgment whether or not you decide to do this. But we will be reaching the crux of it up once we get up here. Alright, so we reached the part of the hike where things start to become exposed, where people start to find this hike scary. Some people start to find this hike scary. Depends on your experience and that kind of thing. But we just climbed up around here. We just looked at that from the bottom of it. And now we got to go up this nearly vertical face here. It looks pretty challenging, but it's really not that bad. If you look closely here, there are these like handholds worn in here. And this is the Indian staircase up. There's this becomes a little more pronounced right up here. But that's why this is called the Indian staircase. I guess the legend is that the Indians actually carved out these hand and footholds to make it up here. Whether or not that's true, who knows? As far as I know, there's no like archaeological evidence to support that theory. But hey, it's pretty cool to think, and even if they didn't put the hand and footholds there, it's a pretty good chance that they would have come up here. So just an official little tidbit of advice if you are going to do this hike. Don't wear a big heavy pack. I got a super light pack. Didn't even bring my DSLR this time for that reason. A big pack would probably make this pretty darn dangerous. Don't do this if it's all wet, at all wet, and certainly not if it's snowy or icy. That's just asking for problems, because it's going to get extremely slick. Wear very good grippy shoes so that you know you're not going to slide off this, because you slide down that, which is what we came from, you're going to have a bad day. And don't be afraid to kind of use all fours. You know, don't feel like you got to be the tough guy and walk straight up it. It's okay to use your hands. In fact, I recommend it. But now we have reached the crux of this climb, and the part that is what's technically the real Indian staircase here. This bad boy right here, going up that. Camera probably doesn't do it justice, but it's basically straight up. Maybe if you see it behind me, you can get a better feel for it. I don't know. But this is the crux of it. This is the most dangerous part. Yeah, the hard part is finding the way to get started here. That's for sure the hardest part. Just getting started. All right, there we go. And now we got the staircase itself. This part where you want to take your time, guys. Don't be afraid to do all fours. It's how you'll maintain your balance and not fall. Nobody wants to fall. Don't want to fall off this bad boy. The hardest part of this is getting started from right down there where I was just talking. That's by far the hardest part, figuring out how to get your feet up here and maintain your balance to actually get started. You get past that and you realize the rest is really quite easy, and it's really not nearly as scary as it looks. In fact, if you see that ridge over there, I actually have a shot that I took of the Indian staircase and people going up it. I'll put it on the screen right now. I really like that shot because one, it's a cool shot, but it shows the scale of this. If you look really closely at the image, you'll actually see little dots on it. It's people coming up what I'm currently standing on. But yeah, it's not too bad. That's the most dangerous and hardest part, especially where you see where it kind of slopes down suddenly right there. Get past that, it's not too bad. But don't get a false sense of security, you still got a ways to go. So I'm not to the top yet, as you can see, so I got a ways to go behind me. But even at this point, you can see one of the things that makes this an awesome, awesome hike. You ready? Check that out. You could say that is a view that does not suck. And we can even start to see some fall color peeping through. It's still not the sea of color I would have hoped. Don't know if it's going to happen this year, guys. It seems like it's only every, I don't know, maybe 5 years that you get a really, really fantastic fall color. Alright, so let's take a little bit closer look at what we actually just did here, just to clear things up. So right here is the shelter we trace. We got off here, and right here's where we are now climbing the Indian staircase. And now what we're going to do is just continue off trail. As you can see, we can follow this all the way around off trail and meet back with the shelter we trace trail. And then we'll just go back down the shelter we trace back to the car. But on the way, there's also the council chamber rock shelter, which somehow, I've only been up here once before, and somehow I missed going to that last time, so I'm not sure how I managed to do that, so I definitely want to try to hit that up this time. Anyway, we're going to continue on, check out the council chamber rock shelter, which I believe the legend was just that, a council chamber for the Indians. And again, I don't know if there's archaeological evidence to support that or not, but I've seen pictures of it, and it's pretty easy to believe that they would at the very least have taken shelter there. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool to think about the possibilities of it, I guess. So I'm gonna grab my maps before the wind blows them away, and we're gonna continue on. Here's another little sort of interesting rock formation up here. It's called Frog Rock. You can probably see why. Like so many other things, some not too bright people has felt the need to vandalize it. It's a pretty cool little rock formation. One thing I will say, don't be one of the fools that are tempted to like sit on it to pose for your picture. I know there have been at least a couple instances of people falling doing just that, and the camera's not going to do it justice looking over that, but let's just say you don't want to fall from here. It'd be a very, very bad day. This should give you a little bit better idea of what it'd be like to fall off Frog Rock. That's Frog Rock. That's the cliff it sits on. Again, camera not doing it justice, I know. And there's the Indian staircase. So to get back to Shelter Retrace, we're going to follow along that way. But right here is how we get down to the council chamber. And in fact, you can see it from here. I don't know how I missed this before. But that's pretty cool, so I'm going to hike down here and check it out. Alright, so this is the council chamber rock shelter. You can see it's pretty cool, and you can definitely imagine the Indians, if nothing else, taking shelter here during a storm. I mean, it goes back pretty deep, especially back in this corner here, which is probably pretty dark in the video, but we'll go inside and check it out too. Now tell me that this would not make the perfect shelter. And I don't know if you can hear that rumbling echoing in here or not, but it's my stomach. I need to stop and take a snack. It's a little snack break. I haven't eaten really much today. But yeah, how cool would it be to stay here, especially to take shelter from like a storm? I mean, you can see how far back this goes. You'd be plenty sheltered. And it's also to see how it could be used as a council chamber, as the legend goes. Pretty cool spot for sure. And then over here, something else that's kind of cool. I don't know if I've ever showed this on video, but you'll find these fenced off areas throughout the gorge, and it's to protect, see if I can get this sign on the GoPro here. It's to protect these white-haired goldenrods, and they're an endangered species, and they're only found here at the base of these cliffs and in these rock shelters. Here in Red River Gorge, it's the only place in the world that they're found. It's pretty cool. If I'm not mistaken, that green patch right there is some of them, and I think they get a flower on them in spring, or sometime they get some sort of flower on them, I think. I'm not positive. You'd think I'd know as much as I'm down here, but I don't. But the trail continues on this way just a little bit, probably just to get a little more of a view of this place. But I'll walk down here and see what we got. You can hear the echo, but look at that. And then we're going to go back up to the top there to continue the Shelter Retrace trail. Yeah, pretty much dead ends right there. That's what I figured it would do. But one last look at this impressive rock shelter. I mean, this thing's massive. There's probably no good way for me to capture the scale. That turtle and Diamond, the turtle is pretty well worn, you can't really see it, but regardless, that blaze means that we have popped back out on an official trail. Oops, if I don't slide here. And in fact, we are back on the Shelter Retrace. It goes this way and this way, but this is the way we want to go. Back towards the car. Alright, so I'm about 99.9% sure that this is where I shot that image of the Indian staircase. Probably been a year at least since I shot that. I'll have to look at the metadata for the image and see, but right there it is, Indian staircase. Frog Rock is somewhere right there. The council chamber, you can almost see it peeking out right there. And we went up, around, down into the council chamber, back up, and around and followed the ridge out, and it pops back out onto the Shelter Retrace, of course. I was kind of hoping we'd get lucky and there'd be people down there getting ready to climb up. Anyway, let's find a way to get a better view of this Indian arch, which is over here. Not down that way. Oh, there are stairs right next to it. Okay, give me a minute. How I've missed this in the past, I have no idea. Okay, I simply had to have seen Indian Arch before and just forgotten about it because it's really obvious. We'll go down there in a minute. Sheltery trace continues that way towards it. I had to have just forgotten that I've seen it before because there's no way I could have missed that. I'm not that oblivious, I don't think. But there's this, what looks like a pretty obvious trail here. It's not Sheltery Trace, I think. Let me try to do this here. It's this little unofficial trail to Adena Arch, which I had never heard of until today. So I'm just going to poke down here real fast and see if I see anything obvious. I'm not going to go real far, but yeah, we'll check it out. Why not? So I'm going to assume here that this is Adena Arch. So let's see here. Never been here before. It's kind of cool. Yeah, it's like a nifty little arch here. Let's pop inside. Oh. Low ceilings. Yeah, it's kind of a cool spot. Not a great view out. A little cramped. Very cool. So this, I would assume then, is the Adena Arch I saw on the map. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But I'm also going to assume that if I go on top of this thing, that I should have a pretty killer view. So, you know I'm not going to pass up an opportunity like that. I was right. Definitely right. Awesome view. Check that out. So we're standing on top of Adena Arch now. And just to kind of give you a little bit of perspective, Indian staircase. Alright, so before anybody judges me too harshly, now as I see Indian Arch from this angle, I remember it. I've seen this like 1,000 times, I don't know what I was thinking. Yeah, so don't worry, I'm not that oblivious. But we're here. It's right along Sheltery Trace, I remember it now. Alright, so there's a good view of Indian Arch. But yeah, as you can see, it's right along the Sheltery Trace trail. Can't miss it. So yeah, for anybody screaming at me that I'm an idiot, I have seen it. So I just made it back onto Bison Way Trail, which means that we didn't die on Indian Staircase, we didn't get lost, and that we're only like a quarter mile from the car. So this trip is just about over. The Bison Way Trail really isn't all that interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off the video here. So thank you guys for watching. If you liked it, maybe leave a like on it. And I will see you guys in the next video.